Alright, you guys, so we're back to using volume formulas. This is slide 10, which is on cones. Now remember, in the last lesson we learned it takes 3 cones to make a cylinder. So the formula is 1/3 the same as what the cylinder was, 1/3 pi r squared h. Alright, so let's get into volume. Alright, so they give us a cone. So there's your divided by 3, that's your 1/3 pi r squared h. So same formula, but because it takes 3 cones to make a cylinder, it's a 1/3. There it is right there, 1/3 pi r squared h. All right, so I bet we're going to be filling in some stuff. Yes, we are. Manipulate the radius and height. Okay, so same thing we did for a cylinder, we're going to do for a cone. Now they started out with a 10 and an 18. We have a 12 and a 14, so I'm going to go with 12 and 14. All right, now remember, same thing as a cylinder, but we got to divide by 3. So we're going to do 12 squared times 14. And we're going to divide by 3 because it's like the same thing as times a third. So I've got 672 pi. All right, let's do another one. How about I change this to 11? All right, 11 and 14. So 11, 14, 11 squared is 121 times 14 is 1,694. I'm going to divide by 3 because it takes 3 to make a cylinder. Oh, I got a repeating number. So that's going to be 564 and 2/3. 564 and 2/3. So let me use my equationator here. 564 and 2/3 pi. Okay. 0.6 is a 2/3. That's a really good one to have memorized. Just like a repeating 3 is a 1/3, a repeating 6 is a 2/3. All right, let's see. One last one. How about I change the height this time? Let's make that a 10. All right, so 11 and 10. 11, 10. All right, so 11 squared is 121. Times 10 just adds a 0. Divided by 3 because it takes 3 cones to make a cylinder. That's another repeating number. So again, repeating 3 is a 1/3. 403 and 1/3. 403 and 1/3 with a pi. Okay, remember, ACT does not do decimals, so you need to feel comfortable changing things back and forth to fractions as quickly as possible because you only got 1 minute per question. So you definitely want to feel comfortable doing that. All right, so let's see what else here. While keeping the height of the cone constant, move the vertex of the cone so it's not directly above the center of the base. Check the allow oblique and freeze height boxes to assist you. Okay. Is there another one down here? Because I don't see a freeze height. Where's my options? Oh, okay. Allow oblique, freeze height. All right, so we're going to move that over. All right. Well, it doesn't change anything. Is that what they're asking? Does changing the position of the vertex affect the volume? No. Because if you don't change anything, then it doesn't change. So, if you don't change the radius or height, but just make the cone oblique, the volume didn't change. Just by sliding it over. If you don't change the dimensions, it doesn't change. All right, question 3. Using your algebra skills, how can you rearrange the formula for the volume of a cone to find an expression for the radius of r? Okay, so this time we're looking for r. So I'm solving the equation for r. All right, I'm going to do this in an equation editor, aren't I? So 1/3 pi r squared h. Oops. All right, so I'm looking to get r by itself. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that 1/3. There's two ways you can look at this. You can say, look, I'm multiplying by 1/3, So the opposite is to divide by 1/3. Or you can say, look, I'm being divided by 3 here, so the opposite is to multiply by 3. Multiply. Can't spell multiply. By 3. Well, it's going to give me 3v is pi r squared h. Pi r squared h. Alright, so I'm still trying to get r by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by the pi and the h. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide by pi and h. So now I've got 3v over those things. 3v pi and h. And that equals r squared. Oops. Well, my goodness. Squared. There we go. Alright, so I still don't have r by itself. Right now I have it equal to r squared. So the opposite of squaring is to square root. Alright, so I got to have a big old square root of over that 3v pi h. So I got to have a big old square root of a fraction. So 3v pi h. And that's going to equal r. Looks like that's it. Is that it? Yes, it is. Okay. Self-evaluation. That's like sweet. All right, so not much to really go through here. This question number 1 is really the most important. You need to know that volume formula at 1/3 pi r squared h. You need to know that it takes 3 cones to make a cylinder. That's why it's a 1/3. You also need to be very comfortable on the ACT changing common decimals to fractions. The repeating 3, the repeating 6 is a common one. Also a 0.25, that's a common for 1/4. A 0.5 is a 1/2, and a 0.75 is a 3/4. You need to know those common ones so you're not sitting there wasting your time.